Welcome to this guide on creating a basic HTML website. Start by opening a text editor like Notepad, Visual Studio Code, or Sublime Text. Create a new file and save it with a .html extension, such as index.html. Now let's create the basic HTML structure. Every HTML document begins with a doctype declaration, followed by HTML head and body elements. The head section contains metadata about your web page. This includes the page title, character encoding, and viewport settings. The body section contains all the visible content of your web page. This includes headings, paragraphs, images, links, and lists. You can organize your content using div elements. Divs act as containers to group related content and create sections like header, content, and footer. You can add basic styling to your HTML elements using CSS. There are two common approaches: inline CSS for styling individual elements, or linking to an external style sheet for more organized styling. Remember to save your file when you're finished. You've now created a basic HTML website. Let's start with local testing, which is the simplest way to view your HTML website. To test your website locally, simply double-click your HTML file to open it in your default web browser. This method is quick and doesn't require an internet connection, but your website will only be visible on your computer. To make your website accessible online, you'll need web hosting. For beginners, there are several free options available. Popular free hosting services include GitHub Pages, Netlify, and Vercel. Each offers different features, but all are beginner-friendly. Let's look at deploying with GitHub Pages. First, you'll need to create a GitHub account if you don't already have one. Next, create a new repository that will host your website files. Upload your HTML files to the repository. You can do this through the GitHub interface or using Git commands. Finally, go to your repository settings, scroll down to GitHub Pages, and enable it. Choose the main branch as your source. After enabling GitHub Pages, your website will be available at a URL like username.github.io/repository name. Netlify and Vercel offer even simpler deployment options. First, create an account on either platform. You can choose to deploy manually or connect to your GitHub repository for automatic deployments. For manual deployment, simply drag and drop your website folder to the upload area. Your site will be deployed automatically, and you'll receive a unique URL where your website is now live. For a more professional web presence, you might want to use a custom domain instead of the default one provided by your hosting service. First, purchase a domain name from a domain registrar like Namecheap, GoDaddy, or Google Domains. Next, add your custom domain in your hosting provider's settings area. Configure the DNS settings at your domain registrar to point to your hosting provider. This usually involves adding A records or CNAME records. Finally, wait for the DNS changes to propagate, which can take up to 48 hours, though it's often much faster. Congratulations! Your HTML website is now live and accessible to anyone on the internet.